Fireside Chat. As you can see, I'm here joined by our elders and RJ, and we are so grateful to be here to give you an update on First Family Church and some things that we're going to be looking forward and discussing as we move forward. I want to give you a quick update. As you can tell, Pastor Todd's not here with us right now. I want to give you a quick update on him. As many of you know, he's been sharing this, been very honest and open about this. He's been up in Michigan with his wife, Julie, and just this past weekend, Julie's father passed away, and so he's been up there caring for the family and helping with that, and so the funeral for Julie's father will be tomorrow, and so he's up there to help with those responsibilities and care for the family, and so he can be with his wife. So be praying for Pastor Todd as he's there, taking care of those details. I know he's sad not to be with us tonight, but we've been in communication, so I know he's in agreement with what we're going to be sharing and wishes he could speak into these things as well. But just as people continue to log in and join us tonight, we do want to just take a moment to introduce ourselves and then to quickly just share with you some blessings that we've seen in the last 2 months and God's faithfulness to us during this time. I think one of the things that's been most encouraging to me, I'm Travis, I'm the discipleship pastor here, one of the elders. I think the thing that's been most encouraging to me is just to see the spontaneous action of our people. Typically, when things are up and normal, our people serve and care for our people more in a organized or programmed fashion. And in the last 2 months, it's been just so neat and encouraging to see our people just meet needs, to hear of needs and meet those needs in more of a spontaneous, hey, what is needed? I got it fashion. And I was able to think about that as I was able to preach sermons the last couple weeks, and even I know what Todd's going to be sharing this Sunday, and I just echo his thoughts that you guys have stepped up and cared for our people, and that's just been such an encouragement to me during this time. Scott, you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, hi, Scott Helms. The thing that's really just stood out to me about God's faithfulness has been just the way that we've just been so blessed with the worship and the teaching through technology, small groups being able to meet over Zoom, and just His provision through this. That it's been tough, obviously, not getting to see all of you and each other. And only meeting in small groups in 2D instead of 3D, and be able to shake somebody's hand and give them a high five or a hug. But God's been faithful in providing awesome opportunities for us to worship at home and with our families. And though we can't gather, we're excited to do that soon. But God's just been really faithful through this in that way.
I'm Dale, and I'm one of the elders, and I think one of the things I've been really thankful for is this elder body being really responsive, even more responsive, I would say, even as we're initially started gathering digitally and not together. But I still see time and time again that people are still available, and they're willing to meet and pray for at any time, even late at night sometimes. We'd meet via Zoom or something, but. On a more personal level, I'm really thankful. Everything has slowed down, at our house, especially when it comes to in the morning when we're trying to get ready to go or anything like that. And I've kind of taken advantage of that time to kind of slow things down with the family, maybe spend some time in the Word more in the morning just to start the day. So that's 2 things that I've been really thankful for during this quarantine.
I'm Ed Gregory, and one of the things that I'm thankful for is how God has demonstrated that He is not limited by time nor space like we are. And while His pattern is for us to be able to gather together and to do that at certain times for worship and to serve Him and to do ministry, when the circumstances dictated differently, the Lord was still in charge, and He wasn't limited, and we were able to worship and serve, and His work was demonstrated and in some cases even advanced during this time. I'm also personally thankful for the fact that God is a God who gives us peace in the midst of the storm. No matter what is happening, He's taught us to pray about everything and worry about nothing. And the peace of God that passes all understanding will keep our hearts and minds in Christ. And I'm thankful that during this crisis time, when we could have been overcome with fear, we found his peace and abundance when we looked to and leaned upon him.
I'm Edgar Cabrera, and I am particularly thankful for God's Word, particularly during these past 3 months. I'm so thankful, like others have said, that we have been able to continue listening to the Word preached, as well as the Word celebrated through song, and in our small groups as we have gone over Scripture as well. In addition to that, I'm very thankful for the experience we had with Proverbs. We had over several weeks the opportunity to go over Proverbs, and I actually looked with anticipation to who was going to share something that was very meaningful to her or him for that particular proverb. So I'm thankful for that.
Hello, I'm RJ Parks. I'm the Director of Operations here at First Family, and I also serve as a deacon. One of the things that I'm probably most thankful for kind of piggybacks off what Travis said. As we've seen our congregation really step up and meet people's needs, I've had a front row seat to really watch our staff do the same thing. And I've had a chance to see things from our children's ministry area with Becky and Heidi, and the videos and the content that they're continuing to produce. And then I think of Jake and like the Olympics that he put on with the youth, and just all the things that we were able to do. And as a staff, we'd have the opportunity to, over Zoom, to be able to encourage our departing high school seniors, as well as those that work in the educational field that attend First Family. And just being able to still have that community has been really fun and exciting for me. During this time, I guess I mentioned a couple times over those meetings that this probably hit me a little harder than I expected it to, the fact to not be able to see all of you guys in person every Sunday. And I found out, personally, that on Sundays, that's really where I kind of fill my tank, being able to see you guys for the week. And having that taken away from me was pretty tough. But being able to see our staff step in and fill those needs for people, and for myself especially, has just been fantastic to see.
Awesome. So I'm so grateful to be joined by our elders here tonight. And as we mentioned, just welcome to our Fireside Chat. And we want to take some time tonight to discuss some future events and some things that are coming up. And so we do desire feedback tonight. We do want some interaction from those of you that are watching at home. And so we're going to discuss primarily 3 main topics tonight. And then we're going to end our time with a Q&A. And so we're going to discuss some things, and we've prepared a few discussion topics, but we do want to know what you guys are thinking and wondering about. So during this time, we would love for you to give us some questions that you have. And so if you wouldn't mind, while we're discussing, send us in some questions, and we'll discuss these at the end of our time tonight. The phone number that you can text your questions into is this. It's 515-446-9375. That's again 515-446-9375. And we're going to put that phone number in the chat for you so that you can reference that later. But please, while we're discussing, if you want to know a little bit more of clarification, or if you have a question that we haven't addressed, we would love to know what that is. And we will take some time, and one of our elders will speak into the questions that you have. So we've got 3 main topics that we want to jump into tonight. And the first one is going to be probably the majority of our time, which is just our regathering plan. We are so excited to get back together this Sunday, Lord willing. We can't wait to see you guys and to see our people. And so you probably have some questions about what that will look like and how we're going to do that. And we've started to address that, but we want to continue to address that and just to answer your questions. So Scott and Dale, you guys are going to help me address some of those questions. So Scott, start us off. What can they expect this Sunday?
Yeah, well, as we've prepared to come back together as a church family under one roof, so to speak, our posture has really been to do it incrementally, responsibly, and faithfully. And so that's kind of driven all of our decisions, all of our prayerful discussion about how best to make this happen. And we're going to first start off with one major change being we're going to go to 3 services to start. So we'll have a service at 8, 9:30, and 11. So all the services will shorten down a little bit, but we'll start about a half hour earlier and go about a half hour longer than our typical day prior to all of this. And what we're asking you to do is to go online and sign up for the service that you would like to attend. And that's going to help us be able to plan better, be able to make sure that we can accommodate, because we have had to make some changes, which Dale will talk about. But if you can do that, that'll really help us be able to prepare. Currently, right now, the 8 o'clock service is full. 9:30 is pretty full, and there's quite a few seats open at 11, correct? So if you can make it at 11, that would really help us out to spread out people. And please take the time to go online and make those intentions known as to which service you'd like to attend this Sunday. The other thing to note as well, we've got all kinds of details beyond what we're going to even talk about tonight, some FAQs, all kinds of stuff about regathering on the church website, firstfamily.church.
So I don't think you guys can see this. You might not be able to see this, but we've removed 230 chairs out of the worship center. And so as you see, when you come in, you're going to see that there's pockets of seating anywhere from 3 to 5 seats. The ushers will come in and they'll escort you to your seats, and you'll also see them adjusting those seats as necessary for larger or the smaller families. And then upstairs, the youth group is going to be used as more of an overflow or more of a family-friendly area with tables for you to sit at, and so that your little ones can have something to draw or something like that. It doesn't mean that if you have small families, you have to go upstairs. That's just an option for you as you sign up and you go on that website. For children's ministry, there's not going to be any children's ministry in May, and then potentially they'll start opening things up in June, along with the youth group, and then work our way down throughout time, incrementally throughout the age groups all the way down to infant. But the first thing that you should see opening, other than the corporate gathering, would be in June, and it would be the youth group, and then working our way down in age groups. Communion. When you come in, you're going to see a communion package packages that are individually wrapped, and you'll be able to grab those and sit down at your seat. And then you're also going to see teams set up to clean and sanitize or in between services and out in the gym.
One thing I neglected to mention, I should have mentioned it because it's on my sheet, was that if we do reach the limit in our 3 services, if we do completely fill those out, Lord willing, hopefully we will. Hopefully we'll be so full that we'll have to add to it, and that would be adding in a 4th service if we do hit that limit.
All right, so we've addressed a few things. Anything the rest of you would like to add or discuss before we move on as regards to regathering? Again, I want to just point you to the website. Go to our website, and we have a whole document there about regathering and some things that we've addressed, and as well as FAQ that you can see there. So please go there, reference that, read those for more information. Yeah.
I would say, although it's not required to sign up, I would encourage everybody to sign up. It would be very helpful for the staff and the teams that are set up here to kind of figure out how to logistically take care of these things.
One of the other things we want to be sure that people understand is that if you're older like me or have some condition that might make you feel more vulnerable, we're not pressuring you to start coming back. If you feel more comfortable being at home, we will still provide the online service for you as well. So we hope that everyone will feel comfortable soon, and we'll be able to see you back together. But we wanted you to know that we understand if you have those concerns.
And just another comment, or maybe a clarification. The fact that the youth and children's program don't start until June doesn't mean that they can come. They would come and they would just sit in this room, in the right. That's right. Okay.
All right, we're going to keep moving on, but if you've just joined us, well, again, we want to say welcome. Thanks for joining us. We do want this to be interactive, so please send in your questions to our text number, which is 515-446-9375, and we'll address your questions later on. And if you've just joined us, just again, this is our Fireside Chat. Welcome. And again, Pastor Todd's not here with us tonight because he's up in Michigan with his family, with Julie, whose father passed away over the past weekend, and his funeral, Julie's father's funeral is tomorrow. And so please be praying for Pastor Todd and his family, and Julie especially, and the details of that funeral. And so he wishes he could be here with us, and we wish he could be here as well. But let's keep moving on. So we've addressed regathering, which is primarily discussing Sunday mornings, what you guys can expect for our services on Sunday mornings. But we do want to take a little bit of time and address specific ministries. We've done that a little bit, but there are some key components that we want to discuss, maybe you're curious about. So the first one is VBS. We get a lot of questions about VBS. So Dale, give us a quick update on VBS.
Yeah, real quick, without a whole bunch of details, VBS is going to be postponed and will be potentially canceled, just depending on how things open up with the restrictions and things like that. So keep your ears open and look for more information as time comes out and the regathering starts to increase and more things start opening up.
All right, let me give you a quick update about youth ministry. As we mentioned earlier, we have a desire to get the youth ministry back together in person, but we've got to do that carefully, and we want to do it well. And so, chatting with Jake throughout this process, we've discussed that we would like to get the youth group back together, potentially as early as June 7th. I know it's always you got to be cautious of putting out a date there because things could change at any time. But we do want to have a target. And so June 7th is a Sunday. And so that would be potentially the first night that our high school youth group would regather. It would be a time for them to worship and to spend some time in the Word. And then the middle school would regather the following Wednesday. So that's kind of a tentative plan. Please check your email, parents, and we'll continue to communicate through that avenue on how we'll do that. The reason we're doing middle school and high school separate nights is, to keep the crowds smaller, gives us more room up in the youth room. But we do desire to get the students back together, even though things have been going well, doing it digitally and over Zoom and Facebook. It's not the same, and I know that's Jake's heart. That's his desire, is to get everybody back together. I do want to reference the summer missions trip real quick that he has planned. That's in July, and that was going to be mainly focused around some events that we have around here, like Summerfest and things like that. And so at this point, Jake is working on continuing that, but changing it. So parents, I think you received an email this week just about the change that'll look like. They won't be staying together overnight, but he still would like to provide some service opportunities. So you'll look for some more updates on that, but that's tentatively what the youth ministry will look like this summer is weekly gatherings and then potentially some bigger events. Parents, you know that Lake Ann was canceled, so if you need any more clarification about that, let us know. Summer events. Every summer, our calendar is pretty packed with different events and things that we do. Ed, you want to give us a quick update on what our summer events will look like?
Sure. First of all, let me remember that we have had to cancel some events, adjust others. We're waiting on some to know what we'll be able to do, and postpone some others. So many adjustments have taken place. But there are two fellowship events that we're attempting to keep on the calendar. Of course, they're all voluntary, optional participation, but we're hoping to be able to do both of these this summer. The first is on June 23rd. We have an annual church-wide cookout at Big Creek, and that'll be on the 23rd at 5 p.m. This year, we're asking folks to bring, as family units or if an individual or a group that comes together, to bring your own food, and you'll be eating your own food and practicing as much social distancing as we need to at that event. but we still hope to have it and be able to enjoy the outdoors together for as many folks as feel comfortable doing so. We're also hoping to have baptism on that day at the lake. And if you are interested in being baptized, there's a place online for you to sign up for baptism class and to let us know that you're interested. And it'd be an exciting part of that afternoon if we could have several baptisms on that day when we're gathered at the lake. So that's the Big Lake Cookout, a Big Creek, I should say, Cookout on June 23rd. The other event is our family camp, and it's scheduled for August 7 through 9, and we're still hoping to be able to have that event this year. And so that information, details, sign up and registration will go online soon. And so we hope that you'll be able to participate in those special events while we are regathering and just regrouping for fellowship over the summer.
All right, what about small groups? Edgar, give us a quick update on our small group ministry.
Sure. Just like in the past, small groups will continue to meet through the end of May, at which point they will take a break and they will resume again in September. Now, we are aware that some groups would like to continue Zoom meeting, and they can certainly do that. We encourage that, and perhaps even at some point they may want to even meet face-to-face if that is possible. But that's really about small groups. They'll just stop here at the end of May, and I believe, Travis, you will be still supplying some of the materials, the questions through the end of May.
That's correct, absolutely. Yeah. And then probably you guys have heard of our Disciples Making Disciple class, and they've had to take a break due to the COVID crisis. Scott, you want to give us a quick update on Disciples Making Disciples?
You bet. So that class has typically met during the second service, the 10:30 service. We are going to be moving that class to the 9:30 time slot. So giving those that attend that class hopefully opportunity to either go to the 8 o'clock or the 11 o'clock services. Our plan, again, everything is tentative, but our plan at this point would be to hopefully, Lord willing, be able to start that class on the 14th of June, so the second Sunday in June. For those that are able to come, that have been in that class in the past, our hope is to pick up where we left off on that date. We'll get more details out to the class members here in the coming days.
All right, great. So that is our topic of regathering and then summer events. The second item, big item we'd like to discuss tonight is just a quick financial update. So again, if you have any questions on regathering or summer events, you can text those in to us. Or as RJ gives update on finances, if you have any questions, feel free to text them and we'll address those at the end. RJ?
Yeah, thanks, Trav. So I just have 3 quick updates that I want to just give to you guys tonight. So one, several weeks ago, you guys probably saw, or hopefully you saw, that when we had our elder deacon introductions, Chris Eller stepped away from being an elder. At that point, he was one of the members of our finance team. So our bylaws do state that our finance team must have an elder that serves on the team. So to take Chris's place, we've had Edgar Cabrera step up, and he's going to be joining our team. So our finance team right now is going to consist of myself and Edgar, and then also Dave Farnsworth, who's from our congregation, and then also Brant Carr, who's a deacon. So the 4 of us comprise your finance team. So it was 7 or 8 weeks ago now that we sent an email out to the congregation, to all of you, talking about the personal payroll protection loan. What we call the P3 loan, right? And that was something you guys probably remember getting. The elders said in that letter that they wouldn't make any moves without letting the congregation know about this. So through the application process, it was kind of a slow go, which I think was a little weird at times, because I've talked to other churches and other small businesses who have told me about how quickly the whole process happened. Well, at First Family, the process actually went really slow. And through that time, we've been able to get some really good data about what has COVID done as far as our offering goes. And so what we have found is that our offering has remained pretty stable. And so as I talk to other churches and I research and read things, across the country, I'm hearing about churches that are just declining in their weekly offerings. Some that are going down 25, even more percent, right? But here at First Family, I'm just blown away by the fact that we've really been pretty stable, and in fact, have actually risen a little bit. And so currently, we sit at 5% above budget for our offering, what expected budget would be. And due to that, also with the fact that because of COVID, we haven't had a chance to have the ministry events that we would like to have. We haven't had the use of our facility. So that has led to a lot of our expenses going down as well. So as our expenses go down and our offerings have climbed a little bit and remained pretty stable, the elders just decided last week that the loan was probably not something we want to pursue anymore. And so we made the decision that we're gonna decline the loan at this time. And the reason for the loan to start with was just to protect ourselves in case we did see a dramatic decrease in offering, and it was really to protect our staff members so that we could continue to pay our people. So I'm overwhelmed and just overjoyed to be able to say that we don't need to use that. And because of that, as we looked through that, we haven't had to, do anything different with our employees. We've been able to keep everyone on staff, all the way down to our maintenance staff. We've been able to keep everyone. And, when we think about that and we think about that loan, we were probably if we would have went ahead and got that, it would probably just been a matter of weeks where we would have had to turn around and give it back. Because really, with good conscience, we couldn't say that we needed the loan. And so our integrity just tells us, hey, at this time, it's just best not to do that. So wanted to give you guys that update. And then, yeah, like I said, as far as our offering goes, I'm just blown away by your guys' consistent and faithful giving. I know it was probably almost 2 years ago now where we talked about that, and just the fact that, we don't need to use special offerings anymore to fund our budget. And we took a little bit of a leap at that time, and I'm just, like I said, you guys have answered that call so well, and just our online giving continues to go up. I'm still seeing people give by mail with checks, and I just, want to thank you guys for that. And that has allowed us to continue to do ministry, like I said at the start, by doing things through our youth group and through our children's ministry, but also, thankfully, we haven't had to decrease any of our funding to our partners across the globe. We're still funding everyone 100% just like we were, right? And so with those things, at this point, we don't have to make any changes. Now, that doesn't say that I'm not saying that we might not have to. We don't know what the next several weeks are going to bring, or months. We could see a decline. If that happens, as the finance team, we do have a plan in place to decrease some of our expenses, to cut our budget if we need to, if it comes to that. So we're prepared for those type of things. But thankfully right now, you guys have just done such a fantastic job just supporting First Family Church and the ministry that we have. And again, I can't thank you guys enough for that.
All right. Thanks, RJ. Again, if you have any questions that RJ didn't address about finances, the church's finances, please feel free to text your questions in, and we will address those. All right, for our last main topic tonight, before we move to Q&A, we mentioned to you at the beginning of the year that one of our desires is to make membership more meaningful here at First Family Church. And we addressed a few different ways on how we're going to do that and what that will look like in 2020. We want to give you just a quick update on that and how things are going and some next steps. So, Ed, would you mind addressing those for us?
I'll be glad to. First, let me express appreciation to those of you who are the members of First Family Church, and for your commitment to the Lord financially, in attendance, and other ways, as you demonstrate your commitment to the Lord and to His church. As we sought to make membership more meaningful, one of the things that we thought would be helpful is if we went back after 15 years of history as a church and asked each one of our members to affirm their membership, their desire to be a part, and their commitment to being faithful to be a part of First Family Church. And so we created an online opportunity for you to do that. And we're asking all of our members, and have been since the beginning of the year, that by the end of May, that you would go online and fill out that form that affirms your membership as a part of this congregation. Most of you have done that already, But for those who have not yet done it, we would encourage you to please try to get that done by the end of this month. The other aspect is that we've tried to enhance what it means to become a member of First Family Church. For those folks who are interested in what membership means or who are already interested in becoming a member, we have a membership class that now meets once a month, and it meets during one of our morning worship service times. And that class will give you the information you need to make an informed and prayerful decision about becoming a member. And we hope that many, many of you who attend already will become members, and that some who are just beginning to attend who would like more information about membership will take advantage of that. You can sign up for that class online as well. One other aspect of that is beginning in September with the new fall year when things start up with our new programs, in many of our service areas, we're going to be requiring membership for serving in many, many of our roles, especially in leadership and teaching roles, and in roles where individuals have a lot of contact or influence over our members. And so in order to better provide for the security, both spiritually and doctrinally and physically for our congregation, we're going to be requiring church membership. And so by September 1st, if you are serving in some capacity in the church, or you think that you would like to serve in some capacity in the church, we're asking that you would go to that membership class and that you would apply for membership and go through that process so that there won't be any interruption in your service here at First Family. So God bless you. Thank you for what you are doing, and we look forward to a new year together as a family.
All right. Thank you guys so much for addressing those topics. We are going to move now to a time of Q&A, and so I've been receiving those on my phone here, and so I'm going to read them off, and then I'm going to let you guys answer those so I can bring up the next question. Is that all right? So anybody, you have freedom, jump in to add something. I'll try to address who I think should respond first, but then feel free to help each other out or to jump in. RJ, I'm going to let you start with this one, all right? RJ does a lot of our logistics and administrative decisions. So I think this one falls into that category, but anybody can jump in. So the first question is this, RJ. If the services are at max capacity, how will you address guests or those who come that didn't sign up for a service? Would you take that one?
Yeah, that's a good one. So like we stated earlier, we do have 140 chairs here in the auditorium. We did have signups for 120 with that in mind, so that in case we did have some people that either chose not to sign up, didn't know to sign up, or maybe brought some guests, right, invited some people. And we encourage you to keep doing that, right? We're gonna have a few more chairs available. We do have some chairs that we can put up in place here if we do get to max capacity. But we also have the youth room available. We're upstairs. We've got 12 tables with 6 chairs at each table that we're able to sit around. Again, in that area, we're looking at family units. So we're going to ask you to stay as a family to sit at one table. If those tables all get full, we do have some couch areas up there that we'll do the same thing in. And then again, if that area gets full as well, we're going to have our cafe area where we've always streamed the service out there. We're going to have that available as well. And we've got 24 chairs out there right now to be able to sit at and watch the service. So we do have some plans in place for that. But, this is going to be the first week, and, the best laid plans, something. I don't remember how it goes. But anyways, if it comes to it, we're going to have to figure some things out on the fly, I'm sure. So.
The second question goes right along with that, so maybe keep that discussion going a little bit. The second question is, if a service reaches capacity, will you turn people away? And I think you already addressed that a little bit. Maybe somebody else wanted to kind of jump in. What do you think what will the feel be here? How will we handle things that we try to do our best planning, but it doesn't go as planned? How will we handle those circumstances? What do you guys think?
I'll jump in just to say that our desire is to not turn anyone away, if at all possible. If we got to a point where it was dangerous and we weren't able to figure out an alternative, a place for someone to sit, be able to hear, but not be too close to others to violate any of the spacing issues, then we'd have to deal with that somehow in a very courteous way. But our desire and plan is not to turn people away, but to find a way to safely accommodate everyone who comes to worship.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we've already taken some of those measures. So as we've seen our services start to fill up online with the registrations, we've been in contact with some families that are filling up the 8 o'clock service or the 9:30 service, and we're just asking, hey, would you mind going to the 11 o'clock service instead? So in case we do get a bunch of people coming in, an influx of guests that just, don't have a place for that, we're kind of prepared ahead of time for that. So I'll just say that to you as well. If you feel like, it's not really, it was just a preference to maybe go to the 9:30 or the 8, but you're fine with going to the 11, feel free to contact one of us, send an email into the office, and we can get your registration changed to 11 as well.
The only other thing I'd add to that as well is just all of our heartbeats, and I know yours as well, is to reach our community through this. And this pandemic is, orchestrated by the Lord. Nothing is a surprise to Him, and it's a great opportunity for you to invite your neighbors, invite people that you may have already been having conversations with, because in a time like this, there is a change, I think, in attitude when people slow down a little bit and consider that not everything's in their control. And so we do really want to encourage you to invite people. We hope people will come that have never come before, and that we'll just, like Ed said, do everything we can to accommodate that and not turn anybody away.
And it's my understanding that First Family Church is one of the first ones to open, isn't that right? So that could be the case, that there would be some individuals coming here.
And just a reminder, our services will still be online, so that's still an option. So your only option's not to attend. Those will still be well done online as well. So, yeah. Anything else, guys, to address that topic of attendance and capacity? And good. All right, next question. This we could probably discuss a couple different ways too. Is the question reads this way, but we can probably infer a few more questions in this one. The question is, will wearing masks be required for all? So maybe we can broaden that too to just masks. How will that look on Sunday? Who will be wearing masks? Yeah. Somebody want to start us off? We've talked about this topic for, I feel like, months, what that will look like when we regather. And so we've talked about it a lot. Who wants to start us off? What will masks look like? Who will be wearing masks? Are they required?
Yeah, I'll start us off on that. So the answer to that is no, the masks will not be required. It's up to you. It's your choice if you want to wear a mask or not, right? We will ask some of our volunteers, particularly our ushers, to wear a mask because, as we stated earlier, the ushers are going to be in close contact with all of our guests as they, usher them to their seats. So we are going to ask that, but that's the only group that we're asking for. When you come in and if you don't have a mask or you feel like maybe you were comfortable not wearing it until you got here and now you're a little uncomfortable, you'd like to have a mask, we will have masks available. We're going to have, I think we got 250 disposable masks that you can feel free to take. We'll have them right inside the doors, the east and the west entrance as you come, for you to just grab if you want to wear one.
I think the other thing regarding masks is we will be wearing masks after service. Typically, we're up front. If anybody wants to come up for prayer or to be prayed over, and so during that time, we'll be wearing masks just in respect of those that would come up wanting prayer.
Anybody else want to jump in on that one? All right. The next question has to do with children's and youth ministry, so maybe myself and Dale, we can field this one at least to start off with. The question is this: when will children's and youth ministries promote children to their new grades? I'll start it off, Dale, then you can help me where I don't fill in all the cracks. So I have a kindergartner, I have a 5th grader, and an 8th grader, and so all of those are pretty important ages where they transition. So what we're working on right now is promoting them all currently. So right around May is when we promote kids to their new classrooms anyways, and so it gives us a little bit of time right now to do that. So the plan is that when the ministries kick back off, the students will have already been promoted. So let's take my middle daughter for a second. She's in 5th grade. So when youth ministry kicks back off, she will be a 6th grader and then in middle school. Does that make sense? And so for my kindergartner, he is being promoted right now so that when children's ministry kicks back off, and he will then be a 1st grader, and he'll go to his 1st grade classroom. And so those promotions are happening right now, and you will be informed about that and be communicated with on where your child goes, how that's going to look. Dale, did I miss anything?
No, I would just say that if you do have any other questions, I would direct them towards Becky. She's been in close contact and been communicating with the parents and volunteers of the children.
Yeah, that's perfect. I know she would be more than willing to talk to you about that or discuss that with you or help you understand that. All right. Anybody else want to jump in on that? Okay. Who discussed small groups? Edgar, maybe you can take this one. Or is that all right, Edgar? All right, and I'll jump in and help you if I need to. With small groups ending, will there be any opportunities through Zoom to engage the over 65-year-old members this summer? We will be homebound all summer, and we'd still like to engage with folks. So small groups typically end around May. How does that look like for people to engage? And maybe we can broaden that, too, to other folks in other ages and other ministries. It's going to look different. Engaging community and having community in a church is going to look differently this summer. How will we play that out? How do you think that'll look, Edgar?
As I mentioned earlier, there are some groups that would like to continue meeting via Zoom, and we are definitely encouraging to do that. In some instances, perhaps the emphasis won't be so much on discussing the sermon, although absolutely that would be great to continue doing, but maybe primarily to encourage one another and maintaining contact, and that will be fine. I think until we are allowed to be in groups greater than 10, I suppose, we will continue to do that via Zoom. But my hope is that we will move from that and that folks will be able to start meeting face-to-face in homes when the recommendations are such that would allow that.
So for this particular person, I can probably, I have your phone number now. I can probably send you a message and let you know some options for groups that are meeting in Zoom. And so I'll do my best to get in contact with you and give you some options there. This is one of the reasons, Ed, you addressed summer events. And this is one reason we're doing our best to keep a few summer events going for this idea of community. We don't want to cancel every event if we don't have to. Right, Ed? You want to address that a little bit? That's our desire. Those are all tentative, but...
Yeah, everything has to be a bit tentative at this point as far as gathering and groups are concerned, but we do want to keep some opportunities available for those who feel comfortable doing so. I think maybe this question may arise out of the concern for those who are older who might not want to gather and not gather for a while yet. Are there opportunities for them to fellowship together? And whether their small groups are meeting or not, they're looking for an opportunity to connect and to connect with each other. And I would say at this point, be in touch with us or in touch with the staff about how you would envision that happening if you're the one who entered that question, and if others have input as well. And I think that there are ways that we could develop ministry or connection groups for those folks, for those of us who fit into that category over the summertime and create some fellowship opportunities that may not be your specific small group, and it might not be something we already have going, but something that could be done as long as it's done remotely. And so let's look at what we can do to make that happen so folks aren't falling through the cracks.
Yeah, great point. Thanks, Ed. All right. We did get a few other questions, and I would prefer that we address some of those maybe personally or over email or put them in our FAQ. And so we'll do that rather than putting an elder on the spot or anything like that. So we'll address those in another format. Is that okay? It's been great to be able to share some big ideas with you, some big next steps with you, and to answer some of your questions. Grateful for that. Just as a reminder that if you have any further questions, you can fill out a form at firstfamily.church/regather. Regathering. Sorry, there's a form that you can go and fill that out, and we'll address those as well. So feel free to continue to text in questions if you'd like, or fill out that form, and then we can still be in correspondence with you. We're going to continue to update that regathering page as well, make sure that the information on there is accurate and correct, and then the individual ministries will be communicating with their people as well. Fellas, any last thoughts, comments, questions that you want to say before we hang up tonight?
Can't wait to see you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. This Sunday is going to be fun for those that are able. So I just want to end in a word of prayer. Is that all right? Let's do that. Heavenly Father God, we thank you for tonight. We thank you for the opportunity we have to plan to regather and just all the work that's been done in that. Father, we pray that this would be a great time for the body to see each other again, and to spend some time connecting again. Father, we thank you for all our people and the faithfulness that they have displayed throughout these last 2 months. Father, we thank you for your faithfulness. We thank you for the protection that you've shown to our church and to our church body. We thank you so much for that. Father, again, it's all for your honor and glory. We thank you for tonight in this church. In Jesus' name, amen. So, church, before we sign off, we just want you to know that we love you, we miss you, and we cannot wait to see you in a little bit more than 3 days. Hope to see you then.